coming live from the halls where politicians thrive. A story broke across the nation, reported now in Lego in the Asian. Grab your coffee, sit up straight. We got receipts and they are great. No violence here, just facts and tea about MTG and her DC beef. It started when the relationship cracked between a congresswoman and a man, in fact, who once called her his favorite fighter, now calls her names on his social media writer. She stood her ground, she drew a line over a bill she said was not fine. Something about protecting women's rights, and that is when they started picking fights. She resigned from her position first, said the tension had reached its very worst. The attacks came quick, the insults flew from the top account with a red, white, and blue. She was labeled things she said were not true, called a traitor publicly on the news feed too. And when you call somebody a traitor out loud, the death threats follow fast from the crowd. She picked up her phone, she typed the words, sent them off to be seen and heard by the president himself, by the people in charge. Cash Patel got it, the circle was large. JD Vance received the message too. Susie Wilds and James Blair read it through. She said, look at what is happening here. My children are being threatened, is that clear? Now here is where the story gets cold. This is the part that the Piers Morgan show told. She sat across from him and she said, the response she got left her feeling dread. Not a word of comfort, not a moment of care, not a we will look into it anywhere. Instead the message came back short and plain. She says he basically shifted the blame. He said the situation was her own fault, that if something happened it was her default. She said she replied with words of grace, that no child deserved threats regardless of the case. No political fight or disagreement in office should ever put a family in that kind of promise of danger, of fear, of violence ahead. Those were the words she typed and said. Now the connotators gathered round to talk about the implications found within this text exchange, now leaked to Piers Morgan show where MTG spoke and peaked. The question hanging heavy in the air is whether this is politics or something more rare. A human moment showing us the cost of when political relationships get lost. She said it was the nail inside the coffin lid, the thing that showed her who he really is. Not the rallies, not the campaign nights, but the moment someone faced threats on their kids. And then she went further on her social feed, posted questions that many stopped to read about the Butler, Pennsylvania day when the July 13th events went a certain way. She said she was not calling it a hoax, but she had questions written down in quotes about information still not fully released, about the shooter and the facts still creased. Why won't the records come out to the floor? She asked in public, asking more and more. The family of the victim, she said, deserves the full account of every fact preserved. She wants transparency, she made that plain. Not conspiracy, just answers to explain. So here we are in 2026, where former allies are throwing bricks. Not literal ones, just words and posts across the timeline from the coast. A congresswoman who once stood close, now asking questions from the opposition post. The texts are out, the interview aired, and somewhere in the building, nobody stared. This has been your satirical news report, delivered in full animated Lego sort. No villains real, just politics displayed in colorful blocks and a serenade.